So today we will be starting with a new topic, that is the drugs regulating the calcium homeostasis. Okay, so first before starting we should know that what is the role of calcium in our body. So all of us know, आपने पहले भी पढ़ा होगा, that calcium is responsible for the, or you can say it maintains the excitability of nerve cells and muscles. It regulates the permeability of cell membrane. It maintains the integrity of cell membrane. It is required for excitation and contraction. It also controls the release of neurotransmitter. Not only neurotransmitter, it also controls the release of various autocoids and hormones. Okay, apart from that, it serves as a structural and functional unit in bone and teeth formation. So these are the major uses, or you can say the role of calcium in our body. Calcium is responsible for secretion, because all of you know that whenever any secretion is required, the contraction is required, and that contraction is brought about by the calcium. Even if you will see the activity of the heart possesses its own automaticity. So for the automaticity and for the purpose of excitability also you require calcium. Okay, so these are the three basic things which regulate the calcium homeostasis in our body. One is your parathormone. This parathormone, all of you know, it is secreted by the parathyroid gland. Okay, where the parathyroid gland is located? It is located behind the, what you can say, it is located on the posterior side of the thyroid gland, and they are 4 in number. Next is your calcitonin. Calcitonin is a hormone which is secreted by the C cells of the thyroid gland. Okay, in the chapter thyroid and antithyroid agent, we have read the T3 and T4 hormones, but we have not read about the calcitonin, and at that time I told you that this topic we will be studying along with the parathormone. Okay, and the third agent is the vitamin D. So vitamin D, why vitamin D is required? Vitamin D is required for the absorption of calcium, and basically the active form of vitamin D. So the active form of vitamin D is called as the calcitriol, and it is required for the absorption of calcium from the gut. Okay, so these three things, that is the parathormone, calcitonin and vitamin D, they are involved in maintaining the balance of the calcium in the blood. If you will see parathormone, then it increases the level of calcium in blood. Calcitonin, it will act opposite to parathormone. It decreases the level of calcium in blood, and vitamin D is required for the absorption of calcium. So in a way you can say that vitamin D acts synergistically with the parathormone. Okay. Now as you can see, it is very much clear from this diagram the role of PTH, that is the parathormone, and the calcitonin. So this upper diagram, it is representing the activity of parathormone. So whenever this pink colored part, it is your blood vessel. So whenever the calcium level is low down in the blood, or whenever there is a reduction in the calcium level in the blood, there is secretion of parathormone. This parathormone, it activates the osteoclast cell, which we will study in detail. So as of now, parathormone क्या करता है? It activates the osteoclast cell, and these osteoclast cells, they cause the degradation of the calcium, or they cause the resorption of the calcium from the bone. So what is the meaning of resorption? Resorption yani these osteoclasts, if you will see their function, they move slowly over the bone and remove the calcium from the bone. As a result, whatever calcium that is present in the bone, it is removed, it goes into the blood, and the bone structure becomes porous like. Okay, now what will happen? This is your osteoclast. Osteoclast removes the calcium from the bone, and it increases the level of calcium in the blood. Okay, see, I have just told you in the last slide that calcitriol is nothing but it is the active form of vitamin D, and it is responsible for absorption of calcium from the gut. So both of them, what they are doing, they are increasing the level of calcium in the blood. Okay, whereas if you will see the lower diagram, here the role of calcitonin is displayed over here. Okay, so whenever the level of calcium will rise in the blood, what will happen? There will be secretion of calcitonin from the C cells of the thyroid gland. This pink part you can see, this is the thyroid gland, and these yellow parts, these are actually the parathyroid glands. Okay, so this calcitonin, it acts on the osteoblast cells. Okay, so what is osteoblast cell? It is responsible for mineralization of the bone. Okay, so this osteoblast cell will cause the mineralization of this bone, or you can say it increases the deposition of the calcium on the bone, and it makes the bone strong. So you can see from this slide that parathormone and calcitonin are acting opposite to each other. On one hand, if you will see, then parathormone increasing the calcium level in blood, whereas the calcitonin is decreasing the level of calcium in the blood and increasing the deposition of calcium on the bones. Okay, so as I was just telling you now, this pink colored part which you can see, these two lobes, this one and this one, this is your thyroid gland. Okay, and this portion which joins both the lobes is called as isthmus. This I have explained you in the topic thyroid and antithyroid drug. And these yellow colored part you can see, it is the parathyroid glands. They are 4 in number. 2 are superiorly located, 2 are inferiorly located, but they are located on the posterior side of the thyroid gland. Now from here it will be very much clear. Okay, these are the 2 superior parathyroid gland, these are the 2 inferior parathyroid gland, and these are located at the back of the neck, if you can see from the diagram. Okay, so we will be studying the first pharmacology of the parathormone. So first of all, you should know certain things about parathormone, that it is a single chain polypeptide made up of 84 amino acids whose molecular weight is 95,000. And how it is synthesized? It is synthesized in the form of pro-parathyroid hormone. Understood all of you? And how its level is regulated, just now I have explained you. Whenever the level of calcium will go down in the blood, then it will be sensed by the calcium sensing receptors which are present on the parathyroid gland, and as a result of that, जैसे ही कैल्शियम का लेवल आपके ब्लड में कम होगा, देर आर सर्टेन रिसेप्टर्स कॉल्ड एज कैल्शियम सेंसिंग रिसेप्टर्स, दे आर प्रेजेंट ऑन द सरफेस ऑफ पैराथायरॉइड ग्लैंड. जैसे ही वो सेंस करते हैं कि हाँ ब्लड में कैल्शियम का लेवल कम हो गया है, सो व्हाट दे विल डू, दे विल स्टिमुलेट, दे विल कॉज द रिलीज ऑफ द parathormone from the parathyroid gland. Understood all of you? If you will further see the mechanism of action at the molecular level, then basically these calcium, it is mentioned as CSR, somewhere it is also mentioned as CASR, that is the calcium sensing receptors. These calcium sensing receptors are basically the G protein coupled receptor, and all of you know that whenever any ligand activates a G protein coupled receptor, there is production of cyclic AMP, there is production of calcium, and as a result of that calcium, what will happen, what we require, there will be contraction of the various glands. Okay, there will be contraction of the various things, and as a result there will be opening of the calcium channel and the level of calcium will rise. So this is the basic mechanism of action. So what you have to remember is that calcium sensing receptors are basically the G protein coupled receptors which produces their action by the cyclic AMP, which is a secondary messenger. Okay, so indirectly what they are doing, they are increasing the level of calcium. Okay, now see, calcium sensing receptors, yes, this already I have told you that calcium sensing receptors are present on the surface of parathyroid cell. Now whatever I have explained you, it is mentioned here. See this, whenever there is fall in plasma calcium cell level, it is sensed by the calcium sensing receptors which are present on the surface of the parathyroid gland, and whenever these receptors sense that there is a decrease in the level of calcium, they get activated. Okay, they get activated means they are G protein coupled receptor, they will be activated, there will be increase in the formation of cyclic AMP. Okay, as a result the level of cyclic AMP will increase, and this level of cyclic AMP is responsible for the secretion of parathyroid hormone, and as a result there is an increase in the level of calcium. See, I would like to show you, just a minute. See, in the chapter which I have told you about the thyroid and parathyroid gland, there I have explained you the activity or mechanism of action of the G protein coupled receptor. Okay, if you remember, just a minute. Just a second. See, this all we have read in the thyroid and antithyroid chapter. Okay, so see, this is called as the G protein coupled receptor. As you can see here, I'll try to explain you once again that how the increase in the cyclic AMP is responsible for the increase in the level of calcium. Okay, just now I told you that the calcium sensing receptors are the G protein coupled receptors. So just have a look. This is your ligand. Okay, whenever this ligand will come, it will bind with the G protein coupled receptor, or here you can say that the calcium sensing receptor. जैसे ही ये लाइगेंड बाइंड होगा जी प्रोटीन कपल्ड रिसेप्टर को, देयर विल बी एक्टिवेशन ऑफ दिस सब यूनिट अल्फा बीटा गामा. दीज थ्री आर फाउंड इन एसोसिएशन विद ईच अदर एंड अल्फा इज एसोसिएटेड विद जीडीपी. as this ligand will come and it will bind with the G protein coupled receptor, what will happen? There will be formation of GTP from GDP. Okay, now what will happen? In the presence of protein kinase enzyme, there will be conversion of ATP into cyclic AMP. So this I was trying to tell you. Whenever the calcium sensing receptor sense that there is a reduction in the level of calcium, how they are increasing the level of calcium? By increasing the level of cyclic AMP. Understood now? So this cyclic AMP is responsible for number of activities. Okay, this is the secondary messenger. What it will do? It will activate the protein kinase A. As a result, there will be phosphorylation, there will be transcription taking place, translation taking place. Okay, and there is one another pathway. See this hormone or ligand is coming, it is binding with the receptor. As a result, there is formation of phospholipase C gamma and phospholipase C beta. As a result of the formation of these two, or you can say as a result of activation of these two, there will be conversion of PIP2 into IP3 and DAG, that is inositol triphosphate and diacylglycerol. Now see what will happen. This will act on the endoplasmic reticulum. As a result, there will be opening of calcium channel, and due to opening of the calcium channel, whenever the calcium channel will open, the release of whatever chemicals is there, that will take place. So this you have to remember that basically the calcium sensing receptors, yes, I have given it here also. Okay, no need was there. Okay, so it is also given here also. So I think you have understood what is the mechanism of action of calcium sensing receptor. Now I was telling you something about osteoblast and osteoclast. मैंने आपको ये बताया that osteoblast are the cells which are responsible for the mineralization of the bone. Just now I told you. Okay, and osteoclast are the cells which are responsible for the degradation purpose, or what they are doing in one way, they are eating away the surface of the cell. Are you getting? They are causing the resorption of the calcium from the bone. Resorption का मतलब होता है they remove the calcium from the bone and they make it go to the blood. Are you getting? So this you have to remember कि osteoclast की activity कौन बढ़ाता है? That is increased by the parathormone. Are you getting? Now see, try to pay attention here. CSR receptors, that is the calcium sensing receptors, are not expressed on osteoclast. Parathormone acts on osteoblast. So it is little bit contraindicatory, which you have to understand. Just now I told you that calcium sensing receptors are, or you can say that parathormone increases the level of calcium by इंक्रीजिंग द एक्टिविटी ऑफ ऑस्टियोक्लास्ट. मैंने अभी यही बताया ना आपको कि पैराथॉर्मोन क्या करता है, ब्लड में कैल्शियम का लेवल इंक्रीज करता है बाय एक्टिंग ऑन ऑस्टियोक्लास्ट, क्योंकि ऑस्टियोक्लास्ट क्या करते हैं, दे ईट अवे द बोन, दे डिग्रेड द बोन. आर यू गेटिंग? बट हियर व्हाट इज मेंशन्ड दैट पैराथॉर्मोन एक्ट्स ऑन ऑस्टियोब्लास्ट. Okay, so this is contraindicatory. It is activating osteoclast, but then how it is acting on osteoblast? It is not acting on osteoclast. Are you getting? The reason is that the calcium sensing receptors are present on osteoblast. Now just imagine, there is one osteoblast, there is one osteoclast. Okay, I would like to explain you. Okay, this is your osteoblast. Okay, and this is your osteoclast. This is your osteoclast and this is your osteoblast. Now what I am telling is, parath hormone क्या करता है? It activates, it increases the activity of osteoclast, but the receptors are present on osteoblast. Are you getting? Then how parath hormone is activating the osteoclast? Are you getting? कैल्शियम सेंसिंग रिसेप्टर्स प्रेजेंट ही नहीं है ऑस्टियोक्लास्ट पे, तो पैराथ हार्मोन कैसे उसको एक्टिवेट कर रहा है? सो हाउ इट इज डूइंग इज इनडायरेक्ट वे. Are you getting? In an indirect way, in an alternate way. See how it does is, it is clear from here. सबसे पहले पैराथ, सपोज करो आपके ब्लड में कैल्शियम का लेवल कम हुआ, so what will happen? First of all, पैराथ हार्मोन will be secreted, okay, due to the activation of calcium sensing receptor. पैराथ हार्मोन को क्या करना है? ऑस्टियोक्लास्ट की एक्टिविटी को इंक्रीज करना है. So पैराथ हार्मोन क्या करेगा? It will induce it will act on osteoblast, it will bind with the receptor which is present on osteoblast and induce a factor called as RANKL. What is RANKL? It is the receptor for activation of nuclear factor KB ligand. Are you getting? It is a nuclear factor. So parath hormone, see, this is parath hormone. What it will do? It will bind with this receptor which is present on osteoblast and activate a factor. It will induce this factor. Are you getting? This factor, what it will, जैसे ही osteoblast के साथ parath hormone bind होगा, there will be induction of this factor. और जैसे ही ये factor induce होगा, it will be diffused. It will diffuse out. And it will, now what it will do, ये factor क्या करेगा? It will be diffused and it will combine with a factor which is present on osteoclast, जिसका नाम है RANK. Understood? And as a result, it will activate the osteoclast. Understood? So here you can see that parath hormone is not able to directly activate the osteoclast because the receptors are not present on osteoclast. So it has to anyhow activate the osteoclast. For that, what it does, it first bind to the receptor which is present on osteoblast. पहले osteoblast को bind होता है and induces a factor RANKL. This factor is, you can say, induced means is activated. After getting activated, this factor is diffused, and what it does, it combines with another factor which is present on osteoclast. And what is that? It is RANK. इसके साथ bind होने के बाद what will happen? This osteoclast is activated. Understood all of you? So indirectly it is activating the osteoclast. Okay, now see, this point already I have explained you, that calcitriol or vitamin D inhibits the gene expression of PTH in parathyroid cell, which will inhibit the PTH production. Now calcitriol, which is also called as the active form of vitamin D, मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया that it is responsible for the absorption of calcium from the gut. This is one of its activity, and the second activity is it inhibits the gene expression of parath hormone in parathyroid cell, which will inhibit the PTH production. Are you getting? See, excessive amount of production of any hormone is also not good for our body. So these agents, they maintain the level. How they are maintaining the level? This is an example. Okay, calcitriol inhibits the gene expression of the parath hormone and helps in inhibiting PTH production also. How? The reason is, see what it does, calcitriol क्या करता है? It increases the absorption of calcium from the gut and it increases the level of calcium in the blood. Are you getting? So the parath hormone, जो भी calcium sensing receptors which are present on parathyroid gland, they feel that already there is an increase in the level of calcium in the blood. So as a result, they will stop producing the parath hormone. Understood all of you? So this is the thing which you have to remember. I'll explain you once again. Parath hormone क्या करता है? It increases the level of calcium in the blood. विटामिन डी दैट इज द कैल्सिट्रॉयल क्या करता है, इट इंक्रीजेस द एब्जॉर्प्शन ऑफ कैल्शियम, बोथ ऑफ देम इंक्रीजिंग द लेवल ऑफ कैल्शियम इन द ब्लड. आर यू गेटिंग? सो what vitamin D will do, it also helps in blocking the gene expression of parathormone, or you can say it also helps in blocking the production of PTH. How it inhibits that? Calcitriol increases the absorption. So as a result, the parathyroid gland or the calcium sensing receptor will feel that already there is calcium in the blood, so the secretion of parathormone from the parathyroid gland is stopped, and the T half life of these is 2 to 5 minutes. Okay, now what is the pharmacological action of parathormone? So first of all, it increases the level of calcium. How it increases the level of calcium? There are three ways. First of all, what parathormone does, by activating the osteoclast, it causes the resorption of calcium from the bone into the blood. This is one way. Second, it also acts on the intestine. It increases the intestinal absorption of calcium also. Understood all of you? But yes, here you have to remember one thing. Parathormone in extra quantity is secreted. If the level of parathormone is very high in blood and it is continuously high for prolonged period of time, then it causes the degradation of the bone. But if parathormone is secreted in small quantity and intermittently, okay, in small quantity and intermittently, then it also helps in the remodeling of the bone. This you have to keep in mind. Okay, so अगर बहुत ज़्यादा क्वांटिटी में बहुत लंबे समय तक पैराथॉर्मोन का सिक्रीशन होता है, then it causes destruction of the bone. But when it is secreted in small quantity for smaller period of time, then it is also responsible for remodeling of the bone. See this, it is mentioned here. They increase the number of bone remodeling unit and activates the osteoclast when high concentration. Are you getting? Bone resorption is followed by deposition of bone, which is promoted by PTH. Understood all of you? So this you have to keep in mind. What is the effect on the kidney? The third way which I see, first two ways by which the parathormone increases the level of calcium is by resorption of bone, by increasing the absorption of calcium. Third, increasing the absorption of calcium from the DCT. Okay, next is intestine. PTH has no direct effect on the calcium absorption if you see the intestine, but the absorption is increased by the, or you can say due to the calcitriol. Just now I told you. Okay, so calcitriol helps in increasing the absorption of calcium from the gut. Okay, next is PTH decreases the level of calcium in milk, saliva and ocular rinse, which may be responsible for the development of cataract. So parathormone, just remember, parathormone increases the level of calcium by any ways. It will remove the calcium from milk also, from saliva also. Are you getting? And thereby it will increase the level of calcium in the blood. Now there are two conditions or two diseases which are associated with the parathyroid gland. One is hypoparathyroidism and the other is hyperparathyroidism. So just imagine, what is hypoparathyroidism? Decrease in the level of parathormone. जब पैराथॉर्मोन का लेवल कम होगा तो क्या होगा? What is the role of parathormone? It increases the calcium level. So when the level of parathormone will be less, it will decrease the level of calcium. The level of calcium will be less in blood. If the level of calcium in blood will be less, that condition is called as the, or you can say, when the level of parathormone is less, that condition is called as hypoparathyroidism. So direct consequence क्या होता है hypoparathyroidism का? There is decrease in the level of calcium in the blood, which is mentioned here. These are some of the symptoms which are given. Low plasma calcium level, tetany. Tetany is seen, which is the sustained involuntary contraction of muscle. Convulsions are seen. Paresthesia, that is the paralysis. Cataract, laryngospasm. Sometimes there is reduced sensitivity of target cell to PTH caused by mutant G protein. Okay. So hypoparathyroidism जो होता है, इसमें पैराथॉर्मोन का लेवल कम हो जाता है. As a result, the level of calcium is less in blood, and as a result, these symptoms you can see. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is that अगर सपोज करो किसी को हाइपोपैराथायरॉयडिज्म है, तो आप हाउ यू विल ट्रीट दैट पर्सन? सो स्टिल दिस एरिया इज अंडर रिसर्च पर्पज, ओके, स्टिल द रिसर्च इज गोइंग ऑन, बिकॉज अगर आप थियोरटिकली देखोगे एंड इट इज ऑल्सो डन प्रैक्टिकली ऑल्सो, दैट पीपल हु आर सफरिंग फ्रॉम हाइपोपैराथायरॉयडिज्म दे आर गिवन अ सप्लीमेंट ऑफ कैल्शियम. आर यू गेटिंग? बट द प्रॉब्लम अकर्स इज, अगर आप कैल्शियम बाहर से लेना स्टार्ट करोगे, इट विल हैव इफेक्ट ऑन द किडनी. देयर इज चांस ऑफ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द किडनी स्टोन ऑल्सो. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज hyperparathyroidism. What is hyperparathyroidism? Increase in the level of parathormone. Okay, so whenever there will be increase in the level of parathormone, it means what? Calcium का level बढ़ जाएगा. Calcium का level बढ़ जाएगा, then all of you know that calcium is very important factor for the clotting of blood. So there will be or you can say there is hardening. It is also responsible for the hardening of blood vessel. So calcium का level ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा, so there will be increase in the hardening of the blood vessel wall. The clotting will increase. As a result, there is chance of atherosclerosis. Okay, because the arteries will be narrowed down, and because narrowed down क्यों होंगी? Because of the formation of clot. And since their wall is hardened, what will happen? Due to hardening of the wall, there are chances of persistent high blood pressure in those people who are suffering from hyperparathyroidism. There will be constipation, muscle weakness, because for contraction of muscle you require calcium, but whatever the calcium store was there, that is being deposited into blood. Renal stone, yes, I told you, due to excessive amount of calcium, there is possibility of formation of renal stone. After that, constipation, because for contraction, for peristalsis, you require calcium. Anorexia, भूख नहीं लगेगी. Treatment, okay, so basically, हाइपोपैराथायरॉयडिज्म होने के रीजंस, ओके, फर्स्ट वी विल डिस्कस हाइपरपैराथायरॉयडिज्म होने के रीजंस क्या क्या हो सकते हैं. सो द वन ऑफ द मेजर रीजन इज फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ट्यूमर इन एनी ऑफ द पैराथायरॉयड ग्लैंड. अगर चारों में से किसी भी एक पैराथायरॉयड ग्लैंड में ट्यूमर फॉर्मेशन होगा तो क्या होगा? The production of parathormone will increase and that will lead to hyperparathyroidism. But it is not a much severe condition. So what will happen अगर किसी को parathyroidism होगा? The bone will become very weak. Okay, there is chances of fracture, osteoporosis will occur, because parathormone क्या करता है? It removes the calcium from the bone. So the bone will appear like how to say, sponge. Okay, they will become very spongy. There is chances of fracture. Okay, so one of the major thing which is associated with hyperparathyroidism is osteoporosis, and there will be easy fracture of the bones. So hyperparathyroidism किसकी वजह से होता है? Basically due to tumor. तो अगर आप, it is very easy surgical procedure. Okay, if it is done in the hands of an expert, it takes 20 to 30 minutes. If you remove that cancerous parathyroid gland, there is drastic improvement in the patient's clinical status. It has been seen that if you remove that tumorous or cancerous parathyroid gland, there is a drastic improvement in the clinical status of patient, not in days but in minutes and hours. Okay, पहले क्या था? जो bone का structure था वो कैसा हो जाएगा? It will become like spongy. Okay, osteoporosis will occur. जैसे ही पैराथॉर्मोन का secretion stop होगा, जैसे ही ट्यूमर आपने निकाल दिया, what will happen? There will be a very fast recovery. Are you getting? So that is seen in the hyperparathyroidism. So for this, there are certain medications which are given. One is cinacalcet. Cinacalcet क्या करता है? It activates the calcium sensing receptor which are present on the parathyroid gland. So it activates those receptors, and as a result it blocks the secretion of parathyroid hormone. Okay, where it is useful? It is useful in secondary hyperparathyroidism. When the hyperparathyroidism is due to some disease, that is called as the secondary hyperparathyroidism, and in such case you have to take this medication cinacalcet. Okay, second is called as the teriparatide. It is a recombinant preparation and it is basically used for the treatment of severe osteoporosis, because I told you that is the one of the major complications of the hyperparathyroidism. And basically osteoporosis का जो सबसे ज़्यादा effect होता है, that is seen in women and it is given by subcutaneous route. Okay, now apart from these parathormone, estrogen and biphosphonates are also there, which checks the bone resorption. They keep a check on the bone resorption. Okay, now after that, diagnostic use, Teriparatide is given by IV route to differentiate the pseudo and true hypoparathyroidism. Whether the person is suffering from true hypoparathyroidism or pseudo, whether it is temporary or it is actually a disease, to differentiate that teriparatide is used. Okay, if you are giving teriparatide to a person, okay, by IV route, and if the calcium level do not rises, आपने टेरीपैराटाइड दिया किसी पर्सन को, सपोज देयर इज वन पर्सन, और उसको टेस्ट करना है कि उसको सूडो पैराथायरॉयडिज्म है या ट्रू पैराथायरॉयडिज्म है, तो आप क्या करोगे, टेरीपैराटाइड का इंजेक्शन दोगे. अगर वो इंजेक्शन देने के बाद इफ द कैल्शियम लेवल इज नॉट राइजिंग, देन इट इंडिकेट्स दैट ही इज अ केस ऑफ सूडो पैराथायरॉयडिज्म. Understood all of you? So that is all for today about the parathormone. Now I would like to show you one video regarding this, regarding hyperparathyroidism and hypoparathyroidism. So as a result your doubts will be clear. So just a minute. First we will be seeing the hyperparathyroidism.
Hyperparathyroidism is a disease of the parathyroid glands affecting 1 in 800 people during their lifetime and 1 in 250 women over age 50. Since parathyroid glands control the levels of calcium in our bodies, hyperparathyroidism is a disease of improper calcium regulation. There are 4 parathyroid glands located behind the thyroid gland. Parathyroid glands monitor and control the amount of calcium in our blood and bones by secreting a hormone called parathyroid hormone, or PTH. Each gland monitors the blood calcium and responds by making more or less PTH hormone. Hyperparathyroidism is a disease that occurs when one of the parathyroid glands develops a tumor. This tumor produces far too much parathyroid hormone, which is released into the bloodstream. The excess parathyroid hormone travels through the blood and into the bones. The hormone activates cells within the bones to eat away at the bones, often causing osteoporosis, fractures, and bone pain. The destruction of bone releases calcium into the blood.
You can see here that how the excessive amount of parathormone is activating the osteoclast, and you can see the structure of the bone, how it is changing. Okay, it has become very much porous. Okay, see this.
The bone releases
Porosity.
calcium into the blood. High blood calcium levels are seen in almost all patients with a parathyroid tumor. The excess calcium can build up in the arteries, increasing atherosclerosis throughout the body. This can lead to high blood pressure and increase risks for heart attack and stroke. The high calcium often affects the electrical system of the heart, causing atrial fibrillation and palpitations. The excess blood calcium builds up in the kidneys, forming kidney stones, and occasionally causing kidney failure. High calcium levels also affect the brain. Since we use calcium in the electrical system of our nerves, a high blood calcium is associated with a slower nervous system, which gives symptoms of tiredness, memory loss, and poor concentration. Many patients with high blood calcium have chronic fatigue for this reason. High calcium levels have an effect on the stomach and intestines, often causing gastroesophageal reflux disease, also known as GERD, and abdominal discomfort. High blood calcium is even associated with higher risks of several cancers, including breast, prostate, colon, and kidney, some of which are more than twice as common in patients with high blood calcium. It is estimated that untreated hyperparathyroidism can decrease a patient's life expectancy by 5 or 6 years, even when the calcium is only slightly elevated. There are no drugs, pills, or other treatments that can slow the process of bone destruction. or take the place of surgical removal of the parathyroid tumor. Hyperparathyroidism is cured by surgical removal of the parathyroid tumor. In the hands of an expert, parathyroid surgery is a straightforward outpatient procedure that can often be completed in less than 20 minutes. Since as many as 30% of patients with hyperparathyroidism will have more than one parathyroid tumor, your surgeon will examine all 4 parathyroid glands to be sure a second tumor has not been left behind. Once all parathyroid tumors have been removed, the disease is cured. The process of eating away at the bones stops within minutes. Bone pain is typically gone within a few hours. The bones begin to regenerate within days, and the osteoporosis begins to improve. The excess calcium in the blood will be gone within a few hours, and within a week or two, most patients feel significantly better. The health risks of high blood calcium begin diminishing within days of parathyroid tumor removal. Hyperparathyroidism is a disease that typically makes people feel bad while it slowly destroys their body. All patients with hyperparathyroidism should be evaluated for a straightforward operation to remove the parathyroid tumor. Curing this disease has a tremendous impact on a patient's overall health and their quality of life.
So I think it is clear now what is hyperparathyroidism, okay, and how it is cured and how the bones is degraded when the level of parathormone increases. Okay, now you all look at a video about the hypoparathyroidism.
Hypoparathyroidism, mechanism of disease. Hypoparathyroidism is a rare, complex endocrine deficiency disorder involving the parathyroid glands and is characterized by absent or abnormally low levels of parathyroid hormone, PTH, in the bloodstream, causing low serum calcium levels and elevated serum phosphate levels. Despite the seriousness of the disorder, there are no formal guidelines on how to treat hypoparathyroidism, and current strategies are focused in large part on symptom management rather than treating the underlying cause. The most common cause of hypoparathyroidism is the inadvertent removal or irreversible damage to the parathyroid glands, usually to their blood supply, during thyroidectomy, parathyroidectomy, or radical neck dissection. Several other non-surgical causes of hypoparathyroidism include inherited disorders such as DiGeorge syndrome and other mutations, autoimmune diseases, other disorders affecting either the function or viability of the glands such as tumor infiltration or the imbalance of certain metals, as well as unknown causes known as idiopathic hypoparathyroidism. Calcium plays a critical role in maintaining the body's normal function. The calcium sensing receptor, CASR, has been found in a host of tissues throughout the body, including the parathyroid glands, brain, bones, heart, and kidneys. The CASRs in parathyroid glands, kidneys, bones, and the GI tract play a vital role in calcium homeostasis. In other cells, calcium plays an essential role in such activities as muscle and neuronal function and cardiac contractility. Swings in calcium concentration may generate various symptoms related to these functions. In normal physiology, PTH is released by the parathyroid glands, maintaining the homeostatic balance of serum calcium and phosphate. Parathyroid cells have extracellular calcium-sensing receptors, which detect changes in serum calcium levels. This results in more PTH secretion when serum calcium levels drop, and less secretion when calcium levels are restored. The actual homeostatic effects of PTH occur primarily in the bones, kidneys, and through intestinal absorption. Bone tissue formation and resorption are part of a process through which calcium, phosphate, and other minerals are stored and released. PTH stimulates bone resorption, and consequently the release of calcium and phosphate into the bloodstream. In the kidney, PTH stimulates renal reabsorption, thereby retaining more calcium in the blood, and PTH also promotes phosphate excretion. PTH also enhances the conversion of endogenous vitamin D to its active vitamin D metabolite, which then increases the absorption of calcium and phosphate in the intestines. When PTH secretion is compromised, bone cannot be adequately resorbed in response to low levels of serum calcium. Bone formation then outpaces bone resorption, which can additionally cause abnormal bone formation, hypermineralization, or adynamic bone disease. When PTH is absent or low in concentration, the kidneys are unable to reabsorb calcium and retain the proper levels of calcium in the bloodstream. This causes inappropriate amounts of calcium to be eliminated in the urine. Additional negative effects due to excretion include nephrocalcinosis, kidney stones, or even chronic kidney disease. The lack of phosphate excretion in the kidneys can lead to hyperphosphatemia, a condition sometimes associated with the deposition of calcium phosphate complexes in soft tissues, which can result in negative sequelae in the affected organs. Insufficient PTH also means that the enhanced vitamin D conversion does not occur, thereby making the intestinal absorption of calcium less effective. The symptoms of the resulting hypocalcemia and hyperphosphatemia can be widespread. Neuromuscular symptoms are typically the most prominent, including muscle cramping, twitching, tetany, and spasms, including laryngospasm or bronchospasm, numbness or tingling, paresthesias, of the mouth area and extremities, seizures. Cardiac function too may be affected with prolonged QT interval and/or arrhythmia. In rare cases, depressed systolic function and heart failure can result. Other complications include premature cataracts, pseudotumor cerebri, when the pressure inside one's skull, known as intracranial pressure, increases, calcifications of basal ganglia, brain tissue. Patients also report other symptoms, like difficulty in concentrating, or brain fog. Psychiatric complications. The current goal of hypoparathyroidism therapy is to control symptoms while minimizing complications. This can include taking oral calcium and vitamin D metabolites and analogs. However, increased intake of calcium and vitamin D metabolite can lead to worsening of hypercalciuria and the associated adverse effects on the renal and central nervous systems. Perhaps.
So this is about the hypoparathyroidism. So I think you have understood it. Now one point which I would like to concentrate here is whenever there is low level of parathormone in the blood. So that condition is called as hypoparathyroidism. Okay. So in hypoparathyroidism, low calcium levels are seen in blood, but the level of phosphate is high in blood. So this you have to keep in mind. Okay. One more thing which you have learned from this slide is that parathormone is responsible for activation of vitamin D, which is responsible for absorption of the calcium. So if the level of parathormone will be less, what will happen? The vitamin D will not be converted into active form, and when the vitamin D will not be converted into active form, what will happen? The absorption of calcium will not be there. So this is about the parathyroid gland. Hope you have understood it. Calcitonin and vitamin D and biophosphonate, this we will study in the next lecture. So thank you so much for today. Have a great day.